Alright, this lesson is on comparing, ordering, and rounding decimals, and a neat little picture here to start off with for you to enjoy. First, we're going to use the less than, greater than, or the equal to sign to make each statement true. You're going to answer these questions. You can see that you've got the difference between these numbers and the difference between these numbers. You're going to fill in either the less than or the greater than, or the equal to sign on these questions. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to figure out whether it's correct or not. So look at the numbers. In this situation, I'm going to help you out with the first one. Go to the largest number and see if it's bigger. So in this situation, in the tenths column, you see a 2. And in this tenths column, you see a 4. So you know that this number is bigger. Remember, the sign eats the bigger number. So in this situation, you put the less than sign, indicating that decimal 41 is greater than decimal 25. And you can even turn that into a little crocodile if you want, which is scary, or a shark, whatever. Answer these questions and post them on the Moodle. You're not done yet though. You're also going to order these decimals from the least to the greatest. You have decimal 31, 3 decimal 1, and decimal 031. I want them in order from the least to the greatest. Make sure you pay attention to these because these will be on your test next week. So least to greatest. There's your next step. So decimal 31, 3 decimal 1, and decimal 031 from least to greatest. I also want you to post on the Moodle from greatest to least between these three numbers: 32 decimal 90, 32 decimal 09, and 32 decimal 009. And in this, you're ordering it from the greatest to the least. So make sure you label greatest to least, or make this the third question somehow indicate that you know the difference between least to greatest and greatest to least, and that it's really easy for me to mark these. Now we're going to talk about rounding decimals. And I put this number 46.342 to sort of get us started. I'm going to give you a quick review on rounding, and then there's some questions at the end that you can do on your own. So in this situation, we know we can't have $46.303 and decimal 342 cents. So we need to round. So we're going to round to the nearest hundredths. So in order to figure out whether that hundredths rounds up or rounds down, we have to figure out, first of all, what those numbers will go to. If this number is going to round up, then it's going to round up to the number 5. If this number is going to round down, then it just goes back down to the number 4. A lot of people make the mistake of, when rounding down, they'll actually round a 4 down to a 3. That's not the case. In this situation, if it rounds up, it goes to a 5. If it rounds down, it goes to a 4. The way to determine whether it rounds up or down is simple. You look to the neighboring number. So you go to the neighbor's house. In this situation, the neighboring number is in the thousandths column. And this number is a 2. And the way you determine if it rounds up or down is simple. If the number is 5 or greater, then you round up. If the number is 4 or lower, then you round down. In this situation, you look at the number 2. Is the number 2 5 or greater? No, it's 4 or lower, which means this number stays the same. So your final is $46 and decimal 34. And that is how you round these numbers. Great, let's keep going. Okay, this is to the nearest whole number. A whole number is the number before the decimal. So this is your whole number and this is your whole number. In this situation, we know that it's a 26. So the number that will be rounded is the 6. That 6 either goes up to 7 or down to stay at 6. And we have to determine whether it's going up to 7 or down to 6. So let's figure it out. We look to the neighbor. The 6 looks to the neighbor, and in this situation the neighbor is in the tenths column. That's 7. And remember, the rule is 5 goes up, anything 4 and below goes down. So the 7, as we know, is above the 5, which means that this number rounds up to a 7. So your final answer is 27 decimal 780, or you can just write the 27 if you want to just leave it at the whole number. I would accept both. So the answer could be 27. Now let's look at the 12.139. We're going to look at the 2 in this situation, and we're going to go to the neighbor's house, and we see it's a 1. And the rule again, 5 and up goes up, 4 and down stays. So in this situation, we know that that's a 1. A 1 is in the 4 or down category, which means this number stays at 12. Good. Let's keep going. That's whole numbers. Now we're going to talk to the nearest tenth. You need to know where the 10th column is. In this situation, we know the 10th column is a 7 here and the 1 there. We'll move this up here. Put that 10 on top. 10ths there. So we're looking at those numbers. Take a look at the 7 here, and let's go right to the neighbor. The neighbor is an 8. The rule is 5 and up goes up, 4 and down goes down, and we know that the 7 rounds up, it's going up to an 8, and if it rounds down, it's rolling down back to a 7. So in this situation, we look at the 8. That's above 5, which means that this is rounding up. So your final answer is 26.8, and that's rounded to the nearest tenth. Let's look at the question at the bottom now. 12.139 to the nearest tenth. The tenths column is the 1. Let's go to the neighbor. Take a look. Well, the neighbor's a 3. 5 and up, it goes up. 4 and down goes down. So that 3 is in the 4 and down category, which means that this number stays the same, which means your answer is 12.1. Good. Let's keep going. This is to the nearest hundredth. Your hundredth column is, this is the tenths column, and this is the hundredths column. Tenths column and the hundredths column. So we know the 8 in the first question, and the 3 is in the second question. So let's take a look at the 26.780 first. It's in the hundredths column. The 8's in the hundredths column. We look to the neighbor and we see a 0. Remember, 5 and up means it rounds up. 4 and down means it rounds down. The 8 is either going to round up to 9 or stay down at 8. So we see that it's in the 4 and down category, the 0 is, which means it's going to stay at 8. So your answer is 26.78. Let's take a look at the 12.139. The 3 is in your hundredths column, and that's what we're rounding to. So we take a look at the neighbor, and it's a 9. So the rule again, 5 and up goes up, 4 and down goes down. In this situation, this 3, if it goes up, it's going to round up to 4, and if it rounds down, it's going to round back down and stay at the 3. So let's see what we're going to do. That 9 is in the 5 and up category, so that means that number is going to round up. So your final answer is 12.14. Great. I know it was a really quick review of rounding. Hopefully that's not too confusing. To finish off, you're going to fill in this chart for me. So basically the chart states similar to the questions that we just reviewed. You've got your numbers here. Numbers 1, 2, and 3. And you're going to round them to the nearest whole number, to the nearest tenths column, and to the nearest hundredths column. And remember, if you're having trouble or difficulty remembering how to do this, scroll back into the video and take another look, and that should help you out. Hope this was a help. Good luck.